So page 157 is kind of a carryover from yesterday. So yesterday we all explored problems with more than one step. And lots of you decided whether you wanted to do two little equations or if you preferred solving it all together in one big equation. So we're going to continue working on that today. Okay? Oops, I lied. We're not going to do 100. We're going to start on page 155. Back. Okay. So, can I have a volunteer to read number 1? So first, let me go back for a second. First, what we're going to do is we're going to work on this problem together. We're going to look at different methods, just like we did yesterday. Remember how we saw different methods and then kind of decided which one we preferred? And then we're going to practice with some similar problems. Sound like a plan? Okay. Mohammed, would you read number 1 to us nice and loud? And it's right here at the top of the page. 155. Sorry for the confusion.
So Mr. Still makes bags of school supplies for the 9 students in his class. He has 108 pencils and 72 erasers. He puts the same number of pencils and the same number of erasers into each bag. How many more pencils than erasers are in each bag of school supplies?
Okay. So now it says, solve the problem by finishing Nicole and David's methods. Discuss what is alike and what's different. So we're going to work through, they've given us kind of an outline of how to solve it. So that's what we're going to start with. And then we're going to decide if we like one better or not. And you can all have different preferences, of course, because we all have different points of view, right? Okay, so Nicole's method. Nicole likes to write one equation for each step. So she's kind of going step by step. So it says, first, she's going to divide to find the number of pencils that Mr. Stills puts in each bag of school supplies. So he starts with 108 pencils, right? And he's going to make 9 bags. You guys agree with that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so she says, if he has 108 pencils, we're going to divide it by 9. So I'm just going to do mine off to the side. Feel free to do your work on the margin of your page. You could even do it over here. Graph paper on your desk.
Okay.
Where can you solve 108 divided by 9? Whiteboard if you want it. I see Liliana's working on her desk. Lucas on his desk. Samantha's working in her book. Mohammed's in the book. It's long division. All right. Some people are still working. Mubina, are you almost done? Okay. Got an answer, Stella? All right, so I'm saying 9 times 1 gets me close to 10 without going over, leaving me 1 left. So then when I bring down my 18, I get 9 times 2 is 18. So did anyone get 12?
Yes.
Woohoo! Okay. So this is saying Mr. Stills is going to take 108 pencils and put 12 pencils in each of 9 bags. Okay. Now he's going to take the erasers. So Nicole's going to look at the erasers and say, okay, Mr. Stills has 72 erasers. He's still going to give those erasers to 9 students. So now we need to figure out what is 72 divided by 9. So I feel like this is a fact. If I use my 9's trick, I can try to figure out 5, 6, 7, 72. So that would be 9 times 8. Don't even have to do long division for that one. Okay. However, our problem told us that Mr. Stills wants to have the equal number of pencils and erasers, right? So now we have to figure out how many more pencils than erasers are in each bag. I'm sorry, he doesn't want the equal number of pencils and erasers. He wants an equal number of each. So he's going to have more, 12 pencils and 8 erasers. So Nicole's going to subtract 12, take away 8, and what does she get? 4. For an answer of, there are 4 more pencils than erasers in each bag. So they're not getting the same amount of pencils and erasers. All right. So that's one way to do it. Nicole broke it down step by step. She did her calculations along the way. Let's check out David's method. Okay. So David writes an equation for the whole problem. Yeah, and we already have the answer, right? So David, he says, I'm going to use P as my variable. P is going to be how many more pencils and erasers are in each bag. So David says, okay, first I'm going to start with the number of pencils in each bag of school supplies, which would be what divided by 9? 108, because he's got 108 pencils divided by 9. And then David's going to subtract the number of erasers in each bag, which is going to be 72 divided by 9, and that's going to give him P. Does that make sense, Brandy? So he's basically doing all of these steps. He's just showing them together in one equation. Same math, just looks different in his mind. So then he solves, just like we did. If he did these little carets, this would be 12, and this would be 8, right? 108 divided by 9, 12. 72 divided by 9 is 8. And then he can subtract to solve for P. 12 take away 8 is still 4. And so his answer is there are 4 more pencils than erasers in each bag of school supplies. Okay, so now you have to decide. You've seen 2 different methods. Nicole's method, she breaks it up into all the different equations and solves them along the way. And David's method puts the whole story problem into one equation and then solves it along the way. So how about if you go to pick up your book and your pencil, and I want you to stand on this side of the room if you like Nicole's step-by-step method. Freeze. And I want you to stand on this side of the room if you like David's one big equation method. Ready, go. All right, if you can hear me clap once. I know it's hard, you got your book in your hand. Okay, so a lot more people like Nicole's method, but that's fine. This is just showing that we have different points of view, and this is the coolest thing about math these days is it doesn't matter how you solve the problem. If you get to the right answer, you're golden, okay? So consider this. I'm not going to match you up, but what I am going to ask you to do is, let's see, who is, Stella is Sammy's elbow partner, and Yusuf is Kadi's elbow partner, and Olivia is Ava's. So Olivia and Yusuf and Stella, when you're discussing these problems with your elbow partner, consider their point of view. You know about them that they might see the problem a little bit differently than you, and likewise, girls, you're going to see the problem differently than your elbow partner. But when you solve the problem, you should both come to the same answer. Okay, so we'll just consider each other's points of view as we're working on the next few problems. All right, back to your spots. And let's look at the problem on page 156. If you can hear me, say shh. Yusuf, you're real far from your spot. Okay. Can I have a volunteer to read the problem on page 156? Mubina, will you read this nice and loud, number 2?
John is selling bags of popcorn for a school fundraiser. So far, John has sold 45 bags of popcorn for $5 each. His goal is to earn $300 for the school fundraiser. How many
put them in the finished work box. Okay, so we are going to solve the problem writing an equation for each step, kind of like Nicole's version. And then we're going to do David's version. And we'll just solidify. So we'll see if you guys still agree on your favorite method. Okay? Okay, so write an equation for each step. It says, multiply to find how much money John has earned so far for selling popcorn. So what numbers do we need to multiply to figure out how much he's earned so far? Julian?
45 times 5.
So he sold 45 bags and he sold them for $5 each. Okay, so I'll give you a moment to solve for that 45 times 5. Where will you solve it, Lucas?
I would solve it right there. Exactly what you're doing. Okay, that was easy.
Okay. Lawson's still working. Brandy, did you get an answer?
Yeah.
What'd you get for 45 times 5?
45 times 5, 225.
So 5 times 5 is 25, and then I've got 20 and 2 more. Anyone agree with Brandy? 225? Sammy's still working on it. Okay. Okay. Oops. You must be working ahead. So then it says subtract to find out how much money John has left to earn to reach his goal. So he wants $300, right? And he's earned 225. So now we have to figure out how much is left, and we would subtract. I'm just going to do that off to the side. We're going to have to do some regrouping. Did you already subtract, Yusuf?
Yeah, I'm done with the problem.
What'd you get, Mason? Naya, what'd you get?
185. Wait. What? Wait, what?
Oopsies. Look, I made a mistake. I made a regrouping mistake. I regrouped an extra.
It says the answer on the page.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I did the whole problem. I didn't even see that.
Yes, same.
I did,
Wait.
and then I erased it.
Not 185. Yeah.
I still got the answer.
Lawson, did you get 75?
Yeah. What? And then you have to divide that. What is the next because
So now it says divide to find the number of bags of popcorn John must sell. So if he has 75, he needs $75, and he makes $5 for each bag. We're gonna do 75 divided by 5 to figure out how many bags. Look this is like a 3-step problem, right? Okay, 3 different operations.
Usually, I think you would look at the table, but it's not on the table. It's the answer for this one.
So when it's not on your multiplication chart, you know you're gonna have to do long division.
Yeah, because I know that 12
Yep.
times 5 is 60, so I just counted 2 more.
That works too. Or you can set it up like this, and you get 1 is 5, and 25. So now I have, right? 5 times 5 is 25. Did you get 15? Did you get 15, Brandy?
Yeah, but when I did it totally differently. I counted by 5s in my head till I got to 75.
Totally. Fine. Yep. Yes, Lucas?
Can I get a wet wipe to clean my
Yep. Actually, this is probably going to work better. Okay. So he needs to sell 15 more bags of popcorn, right? And we can check our division with multiplication if we weren't sure. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 more makes 75. So indeed, if you sold 15 bags, Barrett, at $5 each, you would earn $75. So our answer is John must sell 15 more bags.
Can I get a wet wipe or something?
Okay.
I did.
Yes, Mohammed?
I was saying the whole number problem.
Okay. So write an equation for the whole problem. So we've already done all the math now. This is just looking at it from a different point of view. So we're going to use a variable, B, for the number of bags that he must sell. Okay? So we're going to start here, just do the same thing. And we're going to say John's fundraiser goal amount, which was
300.
300. And then we have to figure out how much he's raised so far. So that's where we say we're going to do 300 take away.
225.
Well, it's really 300 take away 45 times 5, right?
I wrote that down.
This is the amount he's raised so far. And then we figure out how much that would give us how much he has left, and we would divide it by the cost of each bag. And that gives us B. It's really all the same steps, just looks in a different way. So the next thing that they did, Barrett, was they did their little carrot, and it goes over here. So they solve, because when we do PEMDAS, we do our multiply and divide before our add and subtract. So we have to do our 45 times 5 first, even if it's not in parentheses. Okay? So we do 45 times 5, which we did up here. We know it's 225. Then we can do our add and subtract, which would be 300 take away 225. And then we're left with 75 divided by 5, which we already discovered is 15. Okay, are you guys feeling the same? Sammy and Ava and who is my other one? Cody. Do you still love this? See the whole problem in one big equation?
Yes.
Or do you prefer the step-by-step?
I see them on the screen.
Okay, cool. All right, here's your job, mathematicians. With your elbow partner, you can discuss and solve the problems on page 157. If you have time and you finish those and you check them with me, then you can help poor puzzle penguin on page 158.
And then can we do the next
Okay.
159?
No, 159 we're going to do tomorrow.
Excuse me.
All right, ready, begin.